I've had the opportunity to work with Lapin on multiple initiatives over the years in very different, complex, and diverse contexts. And so I think what the Lapin team does is they bring a very unique way in solving a problem or helping us solve a challenge in the organization. And I think they do that by an approach which is not one size fits all. They do this in a very sophisticated, analytical manner in understanding the context and the environment. And then they bring a very human-centered way to improve leadership capabilities, strategic execution, and organizational behavior. But most importantly, what I would say is that Lapin's approach is really focusing on the individuals and the team's core values and what drives them. And that can be an eye-opening experience for the team. And overall, I've seen teams who went through that process come out much more stronger. They make better connections with each other and overall just improve business output. So of all the different initiatives we did with Lapin, one thing was always very consistent, and that most participants would come to me afterwards and tell me how immense the value and benefit was for them. So to me, there is a trifactor at work here. So first of all, the key value is for the individual. The individual and the executive who goes through the program improves his or her leadership capabilities tremendously. We'll see that they are more authentic, that they are more sure-footed and more effective when they went through the program. Secondly, we see teams perform much better when they went through the Lapin approach. They understand each other better, they understand each other's value drivers, and they make better connections. So teams just perform much better when they go through the program. And then thirdly, and this is probably most importantly, which I think most other programs around soft skills and leadership capabilities lag, the Lapin approach creates actual measurable business results. And those business results are real. And so the unique way and the great thing about the Lapin program is that they're connecting that leadership work to actual business outcomes. So I think to start out with, engaging a group like Lapin is extremely important that you identify the business value drivers, and I think that's actually non-negotiable. But I think for most of those kinds of efforts, which are around leadership and soft skills, people forget about that. And this is really what I like a lot about Lapin. So whenever I worked with them, one of the very first things we did at the beginning of the initiative, before we even started with the engagement, is to identify what specific metrics and outcomes we target and how we're going to go about measuring those. And again, that's where their analytical capabilities come into play, so that when you actually work with them on how we're going to improve leadership capabilities and certain dynamics across the organization and tie them back to actual business value. Let me give you a specific example. I worked with the Lapin team on a very complex initiative in the risk management world. And it was all about how can we become more proactive and strategic in identifying risk issues around the organization. So we worked on an approach and said, what kind of behaviors, what kind of skills, what kind of capabilities do we need to improve with the team so we actually can improve that? And that resulted in, over several months, improved risk identification in the organization. So real, tangible business output. In a senior role as an executive, you work with a tremendous amount of third parties and consultants and advisors who help you achieve your business goals. And I think the key differentiator for the Lapin team is that they make a human connection with you, but most importantly, that their approach is really adjustable to the different contexts. So maybe let me expand on this a bit. Whereas other consultants have, a fixed methodology and a very structured approach, what Lapin does, it tries to understand the individual's values. So that's something very personal. This sometimes even feels tough for the individual, because when you have to talk about what your values are and what drives them, it becomes very personal. But Lapin does that so well. So they're able to bridge that personal journey to explore your values. What is your purpose? And then they put that in the business context. And frankly, I have not seen any others out there in the industry who have an approach like this. So that's a big differentiator for the Lapin team.